Hello and welcome to Longship Gaming. It is Casual Sunday, September 25th, 2022. Haven't done one of these in a while. Thought I'd just catch people up on what's been going on with the channel, what's been going on with painting and gaming and all those sorts of things. Maybe a shout out coming in this video to someone who is retiring from, at least for now, from doing streaming or publishing videos on games. But yeah, just thought I'd bring this mishmash of stuff together and just talk about what's been going on and where we're going to be going. So, first thing, finally, after much stalling, have started work on, it's going to be too blurry there, unfortunately, work on what's called round 2 of Super Fantasy Brawl. So my friend Kevin, I am painting up these 9 new models from the set for him, and I finally got King Alistair done. There was a lot more to him than I thought. This sort of blue toned scale mail took some time. I mean, the cape was dead easy to do. I'm getting really used to doing capes, but it was the texture, getting the texture right on the scale, the purple parts here between the gold of the armor. I've done it slightly differently from the official model. Wanted to give him more of a pinkish hue, to like more of the cooler but still brighter colors for his armor and so on. Yeah, still, you know, I hit a point with him where I was like, oh my god, do I really need to paint all of these little rivets here? I found a slightly faster way to do it now, rather than I used to paint anything that was silver on these models, just the silver, and then do a wash over it and then have to go and pick out highlights again. This time I just painted them all base black, used silver on them, and then used a white, very, very thin amount of white to sort of pick out the edging. So I think it turned out just fine. I did, what really helps them to pop actually is his belt buckle on the sword and on his helmet here, these little glowing eyeballs. Don't know what they represent, but there they are. They were pretty fun to do. Went with a cooler, like whitish tone, or like creamy colored tone for these bones and horns. In the official art, it's gray and look really sort of dull. So I just wanted to make him stand out a little more. So it's the first of 9 done. You know, bases I go back and I do those all at once. So, you know, I'm back on the painting train. I just have to really buckle down instead of just sitting and watching TV in the evening, watching TV and getting back to painting in our living room, as opposed to just sitting there. So next up is going to be, I'm just going to picking them out of the order that they're sitting in the cabinet. So next is going to be Lily, the steampunk crouched assassin type character. So she should be pretty straightforward to do. I don't think she's going to be particularly complex, but I thought that about King Alistair and, you know, how he turned out. So we'll see, but I look forward to that. So speaking of being behind on things, I added yet another batch of MCP figures. This great sort of number of characters that have come out recently. I feel like I'm missing somebody from here. Oh yeah, I am missing somebody from here. Where did I put him? There he is. Sorry, just reaching behind me for him. How could I forget? Okay, so I was wondering why this seemed unbalanced. So some more boxes came out. So we have Baron Strucker and Armin Zola in his android form, and I'll go over what happened with him here in a minute. Classic World War II era Captain America, and not the human, not the no like the Fantastic Four Human Torch, but John Hammond, who was the android Human Torch from World War II. So that's a nice little addition to the game. So they were in one set, and then another box had Sergeant Fury, or I said Nick Fury Sr., and the Howling Commandos. Don't remember this guy's name, unfortunately, but there's good old Dum Dum Dugan with his bowler hat and his giant gun. So they'll be fun to sort of beef up the S.H.I.E.L.D. and Hydra affiliations. Next month is going to be another version of the Red Skull and some Hydra troopers. So that'll be fun to do. So it was interesting what happened with this guy. So as you can see, the shine there, they decided to produce this model with a chest piece that was completely clear for this part, for the video screen where his face is on the inside. I get why they did it, just to try something, to do something different. But I'm going to have to be very careful, unless I might get some painting mask to put over the screen here, but I'm going to have to be very careful about painting around the edge of that. So I've already painted, before I primed him, I painted the interior face, then put him together, and then masked off this and primed the rest of him. So, I mean, he's 5% done. So at least that's something. I was happy with the way that the face turned out. I want it to be brighter, to pop out more, because especially against the dark purple that his armor is, and he's a real clash of colors. Gold pants, purple outfit, yellow sleeves, and it's wild character, to say the least. So again, look forward to painting him. He is a larger character, but who knows when I'm going to get to them because of all the painting I do have to do. So I really got to step up and get it done. So channel stuff. We have crossed the 150 subscriber mark now this past week. It took the channel about 6 months to get to 100. And a month to get to 150. I doubt that kind of acceleration will continue. I would love it to, but I was pretty surprised, and also very pleased. So thank everybody for watching and subscribing and liking and commenting. It makes it all worthwhile. I mean, I'd still do it anyway, but it's nice to know that there are people who are enjoying this channel. I did take about a 3-week break off recording anything. I recorded a lot of games in advance that could last me at that point out till October 10th or so. Actually, I just finished recording a couple this week, just to have a bit of a buffer. My intention was that I would have time to then do some more Imperium games or Aeon's End, but things have just been too busy. It's that back to school time of year. Kids have gone back to high school. It's just been busier in general. So a lot of just, life took up a lot of time. But I'm back to making the videos now, and you'll see, of course, every Monday will be some more Marvel Champions as we go forward. I think the one reason why I took the 3 weeks off is because of the ratings videos. I'm glad that people have had a lot of fun with them. They took a good amount of time to do. I knew I wanted to get them out before Mutant Genesis, and I did. I hustled, I got them out. They're not quite as fancy as I wanted them to be, but I think now that I have the template down for it, in the future I may make some graphical improvements just to make it more visually interesting when I'm recording it. But I had a lot of fun doing it, and I'm going to do it again next year. And at some point, I will get to the villains as well. Don't know when that'll be, but at some point, I want to do that. So I wanted to give a shout out to Dale the Casual Gamer. I'll link to his channel below. But by the time this comes out, I don't think he's really going to be publishing anything more. Anyways, he's going to have a huge back catalog. I think he said that his last video is going to be on the 26th, so he wanted to have that done before Mutant Genesis came out. So I just wanted to say to him, don't know if he'll see this, but I just wanted to give him a shout out. Watching his videos and looking at, he actually helpfully provided a list of the equipment that he used for his filming. So watching those videos and taking his the tech tips of how he was doing things, I was inspired to do this channel based off his the way that he did his. I don't want to say that I copied anything. I mean, gameplay's gameplay, but I did like his easygoing, laid back style and the way that he presented the games by presenting as much information to the viewer as possible. So, I mean, hats off to him. I hope that whatever he decides to do in the future is very successful. Maybe he'll come back to it one day. Who knows? But, again, don't know if he's going to see us or not. But Dale, I appreciate what you did. I enjoyed your videos. Have some downtime from doing it. And thank you very much because, in part, you were a great inspiration to me starting Longship Gaming. So, what have I been playing lately? A week ago, by the time this airs, it'll be, or goes up on airs, like this is broadcast television. I'm showing my age there, right? The previous weekend, friend Brian came over. We played some one-page rules. I'll put a link to that in the description below as well. One-page rules. If you have a bunch of armies for various war games that are collecting dust on your shelf, let's say they're 40k, or War Machine, or anything, any kind of game that you can think of, because it's not, I'll get into this in a minute, but it's a miniature agnostic game with its own rule set. One-page rules is good for breathing new life into those other armies, stripping down the rule sets to make them, it's very accessible, very modular. You can make it as complex or as kitchen table gaming as you feel like. But anyway, in a long-winded way, we did play a game of that at 500 points. I played my Plague Disciples, which are essentially Death Guard, and Brian was playing the Primaris, or Primary Battle Brothers, or something like that. The Salamanders, very 7-on-7 skirmish size. The one-page rules I'm referring to here are Grimdark Future Firefight, I believe. Hopefully I'm not getting that wrong. I might be. Firefight or skirmish? No, I think it's just Firefight. Yeah, it's a lot of fun if you want to breathe some life into those models and not have to worry about throwing huge fistfuls of dice around. I mean, it felt like 40k. Felt like playing 40k. Well, on that scale, not so much 40k, more like Kill Team. I enjoyed it way better than Kill Team, at least version 1 of Kill Team. I was really enthused by that, and it just fell apart for me. But yeah, no, it's fun. So go check it out. Sign up for their Patreon, get access to the full rule books, but all the rule books otherwise are their basic rules, and access to all the armies that they put rules up for are on their site. So well worth your time. Then we also played some Crisis Protocol. Finally got to field Criminal Syndicate led by Shadowline's Daredevil against Brian's X-Force led by Cable. I got a drubbing in that one. I don't know. I haven't played them enough to know, but their stealth really didn't. Their amounts of stealth didn't really do much to save the Syndicate in the end. The X-Force is very, very good on attack, and if the gameplay or the game plan for Criminal Syndicate is to score a lot of points, nab extracts, and hold on to secures and so on. Well, that did not go so well for Daredevil and Elektra and all the ninjas that kept showing up on the table. I mean, it was fun, but yeah, they're really starved for power. I might mix that list up a little. I think maybe even putting Kingpin in there instead of a whole bunch of 3-costers. I think I need some a little more beefy in the list. But anyway, that's more like some inside baseball in terms of playing that. So, and then lastly, we finally got a chance to sit down and play some Rivals, some Vampire Rivals from Renegade. So because we only had the 2 of us, we decided to play in a dual format. So I just used a prefab Lasombra deck from one of the expansions. So it's kind of interesting. Having now played a game fully, when we were trying to learn it the first time, we played with 4 players. And although the game really does sing at 4 players, and that was just out of the first box set, you don't have a lot of variety when it comes to things like havens and agendas. Just to go over what the goal of the game is, you have a deck full of vampires. One of them is your leader. So in this particular case, you have there he is. So Marcus here is the leader because he has the highest blood potency of 6 here in the corner. So that makes him the boss. You're trying to basically use your vampires and the cards you have in your library to go out into the city. And in the starting set, the city deck is San Francisco, although there's one out for Prague now, which changes up the composition of the mortals and the streets and the events and so on. But you're trying to further your agenda while trying to keep your enemies from completing theirs. So this was a fun one. Not the most interact back and forth game. Brian played Gangrel, which was all about him collecting. His agenda was getting as many animal companions or followers as possible onto his characters. The Lasombra apparently just like to go out there and get into fights with other vampires. So the more fighting you do, you don't necessarily have to win, but the more fighting that you do, the further you force your agenda. So this is their agenda card here. Then interesting ways of manipulating the agenda. So when you get to 13, you win. Or if you take out all the vampires on your opponent's side. And everybody has a haven, so the Tenderloin here was theirs. But you can mix and match these. There are so many now across all the expansions with different, ways of playing. So I made another deck for multiplayer that was Tremere and Hecate. And that all has to do with casting rituals. So the more rituals you cast, the more agenda you get. I made a Toreador and Brouillard deck called that. Its agenda was playthings. So you basically want to protect the mortals that are sitting out there in the city so that you yourself as the Toreador / Brouillard player can then snatch them up and attach them to your characters. So the more mortal followers or ghouls you make, the more you've furthered your agenda. So it's a very different game. It's not like just trying to become Prince of the City. Prince of the City is a thing that you can actually do if you know anything about the Camarilla, how important that is. But also it's a huge target on your back, and sometimes it's just not worth it. So you have a totally separate agenda. You're either trying to defeat your rival, who is one of the 4 people on the table, protect yourself from the rival hunting you, and they're going to be the same person unless you're playing 2-player, or you complete your agenda. So I won this one by completing the agenda. But it was still a pretty close game. I really want to get this to the table with 4 players. It's just that it's not that well known of a game, and they're here in Toronto. There might be 1 or 2 other players, of course, other than my friend Brian. So, but I think that's about it. What we have coming up, of course, is Mutant Genesis. This is going to go out on the Sunday. That releases with, so that box releases with Phoenix and Cyclops on the 30th, which is Friday. I'm going to pre-order it. It's always a crapshoot. Sometimes I've gotten, they'll ship out the box on the Thursday, and I'll get it actually on the Friday. If that's the case, fantastic. I will try and get one of the videos up for Monday morning, if at all possible. But if not, then it's going to have to wait until the week after. So my apologies there. It may not be day one for that release. Oh yeah, and the other thing too, I was thinking of that set, because we're going to have 4 mutants, but there's 5 scenarios. I was trying to figure out who I could fit in to play one of those, but there aren't any other mutants. Well, I mean, there are. So that, Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. But for champions, the only one I have left that has not been on the channel yet, and who is not, shall we say, a lower tier hero, as based on my list, is Miss Marvel. The implications is, spoiler alert, in the MCU and the Disney show, it's suggested that she might have some mutant heritage. Who knows if that is a thing? So you know what? I will use Miss Marvel in one of the Mutant Genesis scenarios when that comes out, and I'm really looking forward to it. Finally getting the mutants to the table. More looking forward to when Mojo Mania comes out the following month, because Mojo's always been one of my favorite villains. And to have 3 scenarios and a mini campaign, I probably will actually play that one as a mini campaign when that one comes out. But we will see what happens. So that's about it. Thanks for hanging out with me here on this Casual Sunday. And until next time, happy gaming. Thank you so much for watching Longship Gaming. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment. It will really help the channel to grow and improve. Don't forget to hit the bell icon so you'll be notified when more Longship Gaming content goes live. Until next time, happy gaming.